When Wang was born, he walked out of the delivery room on his own. When they realized that he is overpowered, his parents restrained his abilities, making him appear weak in school. But powers like his can't stay hidden forever. In the year 4386, as humanity enjoyed an era of technological cultivation, Hu thrived under the stability and progress this science brought. But when all seemed perfect, the sky turned a startling red. Suddenly, a massive frog descended from above, wreaking havoc with its laser beams. The royal guards launched a barrage, but the frog brushed it off like a minor inconvenience. Amidst the chaos, our protagonist Wang Ling was calmly grocery shopping. While screens everywhere broadcasted news of the giant frog's rampage, Wang remained focused on his snacks. A royal guard spotted him, rushed over to warn him, but Wang, absorbed in munching, paid no attention. The guard heroically saved him from the frog, and then dashed back into the fray. He was the legendary hero in Terry, known for defeating the giant frog. Statues were erected in his honor, and tales of his valor became legend. When the new school year began at Faction 60, Wang, once just a snack-loving guy, had matured. He encountered a bald senior oddly fond of head pats. Then, out of nowhere, a golden beam struck the bullies, sending them flying. Sun Rong, a freshman hero and daughter of the prestigious Flower Fruit Water Curtain Group, had arrived, effortlessly stopping the bullies and impressing Wang with her magic. Trying to recover his dignity, the bald senior invited Sun Rong to approach, but her mere presence sent the bullies scattering. She kindly introduced herself to the freshman and extended her hand to Wang, who instead handed her a 10 currency note in gratitude, then casually walked off, leaving everyone speechless. The academic year kicked off with a crucial test to determine class ranks, led by the hologram of the legendary Z. Freshmen learned they'd be attacking the Demon King, a giant frog sealed under the campus. Chen Kaio, the brave freshman who had stood up to the senior bullies, and his friends made it into the elite class. Unbeknownst to them, each student's spiritual force contributed to the frog's hidden strength. When Wang entered the test, the frog, recalling a past defeat by him, was visibly nervous. Pretending to struggle, Wang dealt a powerful blow, and the frog, feigning defeat, transformed into a spirit, acknowledging Wang's unmatched power. In the next day's summoning class, Instructor Pan introduced herself, explaining that the strength of a summoned creature depends on the summoner's own force level. Sun Rong summoned a skeletal dog, while Wang surprised everyone by calling forth the giant evil frog. Instructor Pan took note, sensing Wang's untapped potential. Wang's life had always been extraordinary. As a newborn, he shocked nurses by crawling out of the delivery room on his own, leaving his father, Mr. Wang, fainting in disbelief. Although his father showered him with toys, Wang showed little interest, weighed down by his fate as the chosen one with the ability to hear others' thoughts. Pressured by Mr. Wang to take up sword training, Wang's immense power made swordplay hazardous. His solution? A strategic burst of urine that distracted his parents from swordsmanship to diaper duties, inadvertently mending their marriage. This unusual experience taught Wang his first lesson in life: the value of keeping a low profile. At just 6 years old, he had accidentally unleashed his spiritual power, leaving his parents completely stunned. Realizing the need for a quieter life, his parents made a rare joint decision to pursue this low-key approach. Mr. Wang combed the internet for techniques to contain spiritual energy and implemented a solution just before Wang began primary school. Their hope was for Wang to live as ordinary a life as possible, and he honored their wishes for 10 years. As Wang stepped onto campus, he planned to stay low-key and avoided Sun Rong's election campaign. However, a tempting discount on his favorite dry noodles lured him into voting. Sun Rong's campaign seduction techniques affected nearly everyone except Wang, who was protected by a golden pill from his mother. When Giwa asked how the spell could be broken, the instructor explained that a person with strong will and spiritual power could resist it. Determined, Sun Rong tried to cast her spell on Wang, who simply responded with a sign language compliment about the noodle's taste. Unknowingly, Sun Rong had weakened her spell on everyone by consuming a golden pill to reduce her own spiritual force, leading her to collapse during a demonstration. Wang's unexpected sign language communication lingered in her thoughts. In the pill refining class, excitement filled the air as students prepared their cauldrons. Chen Ko proudly presented a copper cauldron, a family heirloom from his great-grandfather, used for refining high-level pills. A black limousine soon rolled up, and Sun Rong made a dramatic entrance on a red carpet. Minding his own business, Wang unexpectedly found himself face to face with Sun Rong. Noticing a lingering spell around her, Wang decided on a bold move and touched her hair, breaking the enchantment. Sun Rong was left blushing, while Instructor Pan took over, teaching students the basics of crafting vitality pills. As the mixing speed increased, students struggled to keep up. Gua skillfully chopped ingredients, Sun Rong used her father's high-tech machine, and Wang, resourceful as ever, opted for a microwave. Chen Ko showcased an antique cauldron, but things took a turn when his cauldron exploded. Panicked, he fled, fearing his father's wrath. After setting a timer for the 7-hour cooking process, the students left, unaware of a visitor, the Demon King Frog, now eyeing Gua's furnace hungrily. The frog, having evolved by consuming weaker beings, prepared to devour the furnace when Wang, sensing trouble, arrived and followed it out of the classroom. Meanwhile, Chen Ko ran laps, recalling how he had persuaded his father to give him the family cauldron. Wang successfully saved Gua's furnace, but as he emerged from the washroom, he found himself face to face with an angry Gua. Wang tried to explain, but Gua, holding a water gun, aimed at him and demanded he set down the treasured furnace. At the same time, a mind devil crept into Chen Ko's thoughts, intensifying his resentment toward Wang over Sun Rong's apparent interest in him. Just as things heated up, Gua fired a purple potion from his water gun toward Wang. Wang dodged skillfully, but the potion landed in Chen Ko's mouth just as he approached. Concerned, Wang attempted to help, but Gua intervened, insisting Wang assist him in getting the now purple Chen Ko to the refining class. The potion, meant for external use, now posed a serious threat. Without treatment within 4 hours, Chen Ko's life would be at risk. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Gua proposed a truce. If Wang helped, Gua would stop blaming him for taking the furnace. Gua provided the ingredients for an antidote, and they quickly crafted 2 pills. As they anxiously waited for it to work, Gua activated a magical seal to keep the mischievous green dog spirit away from the furnace. To their amazement, the spirit's power had turned the furnace orange, revealing its unique ability to alter timelines. Using the green dog's power, Wang and Gua accelerated the furnace's heating process, racing against time. The initial dose of antidote proved effective when administered to the green dog, and with hopeful anticipation, they gave a second dose to Chen Ko. Wang then asked Gua to keep the teacher and students out of the classroom. Instructor Pan entered, examining Gua's furnace first. Initially hesitant, Gua's respect for Wang grew when Instructor Pan discovered a perfectly refined golden pill inside, assuming Wang had swapped out Gua's weakened version. Wang even managed to repair Chen Ko's cauldron, bringing order to the chaotic scene. The next day, an intriguing hint of attraction filled the air as Sun Rong approached her prey, though fate had other plans. 2 assassins positioned themselves atop the academy's roof, preparing to target her. Boldly, Sun Rong asked Wang for a date in front of the whole class, leaving everyone stunned. Despite his quiet nature, even Wang had caught Sun Rong's attention. Wang, taken by surprise, struggled to respond, while Sun Rong was oblivious to her danger. The assassins were about to fire, but Wang sensed their presence, and his immense power caused them to hesitate. Just then, their teacher entered, giving Wang the chance to excuse himself, leaving the confused assassins without a target. Unbeknownst to Wang, his interaction with Sun Rong had become popular on Faction 60's website. Instructor Ju, recognizing Wang's true identity as the boy who defeated the Demon King, decided to make him his disciple. In a surprising twist, Wang used his forget trick on Ju, erasing their encounter from his memory. Later, the Demon King warned Wang of the assassin's continued threat. The following morning, Wang found a limousine outside his house with Sun Rong waiting for him. Despite mixed feelings and the media frenzy surrounding their date, Wang's family encouraged him to join her. As the news of their outing spread, the persistent assassins followed closely. Throughout the date, Wang used his abilities to protect Sun Rong and erase her memory of each encounter with the assassins. From a Ferris wheel ride to a moment with fireworks, the assassins made several attempts to strike. In a final effort, they took over their Ferris wheel cabin, but Wang quickly threw them out. He then asked Sun Rong to keep their adventure a secret using his promise. Instructor Ju then appeared, bringing news of the continued threat to Sun Rong and subtly praising Wang for his role in protecting her. Wang used his forget trick once again. The assassin's failure marked a historic defeat for the Shadow faction, which had never failed in 100 years. Furious, the faction's leader issued a shadow kill order determined to restore their tarnished reputation. The following day, the atmosphere at school grew tense as a spying device targeted Sun Rong, and the shadow faction leader took note of Wang's impressive strength. Chen Ko and Giwa pressed Wang with questions about his date with Sun Rong, and their conversation was interrupted when she joined them, flanked by her bodyguards. But the revelation of the shadow faction's kill order cast a new shadow of danger over Sun Rong's safety. Ju, prepared for this risk, had already arranged additional security measures, including a 7-star squad, to guard against potential sniper or aerial attacks. As tensions rose, the shadow faction leader, infuriated by Ju's interference, cursed him for ruining their plans. Undeterred, the faction advanced its assault, initiating an attack on school grounds. Zhu Fang, a member of the shadow faction's hammer team, quickly neutralized the guards as they arrived, making way for master assassin Zhuo Yang, a golden pill phase expert, who entered after confirming the area was secure. Meanwhile, the students in the academy were engrossed in their smartphones, discussing the unfolding drama. Wang Zuqing interrupted them with sarcastic remarks, and as Zhuo Yang used toxins to eliminate guards inside, a new wave of cruisers arrived for additional protection, frustrating Zhuo Yang further. In the midst of the chaos, Wang Zuqing suddenly threw a piece of chalk at Zhuo Yang, who dodged it. The hammer team's leader, Zhuo Jian, then used his invisibility to evade detection from the 7-star squad, armed with a magic hammer of immense power. Zhuo Jian tried to escape by releasing a toxic smoke bomb, but stumbled as he opened the door, where Wang was coincidentally receiving a package. Elsewhere, Zhu Fang tried to subdue the green dog, only to fall victim to its life-draining bite. Reverting to its true form, the dog defeated Zhu Fang with a powerful energy blast. As Wang collected his drone delivery, he informed Zhuo Jian that the assassination attempt had failed, angering him into a failed attempt to overload his powers to disable the security system. Defeated and bleeding heavily, Zhuo Jian collapsed, while the shadow faction's leader seethed at the botched plan. Wang then handed over the captured assassins to the authorities, feigning injuries to reassure his classmates of Sun Rong's safety and resolve the crisis. Under the guise of recovering, Wang took a sick leave while attributing the success to Master Ji. Sun Rong, sincerely worried, arranged for top medical experts to care for him, even building a private cabin that administered rare medicinal treatments hourly. Wang's mother, unaware of the charade, brought him breakfast and encouraged him to return to school soon. Later, Chen Ko, Gua, and Sun Rong visited him with gifts, and Sun Rong, eager to impress, presented Wang's mother with expensive nutritional supplements. On the day of the attack, Wang had pretended to be injured as Sun Rong summoned a family helicopter, observing everything while pretending to be unconscious. Wang Zuqing also handed something important to Chen Ko, a spiritual power test kit for Wang. Sun Rong, worried about Wang's health, argued against him taking the test, fearing it would exhaust his vital energy. Gua suggested using an injection Sun Rong had brought, but Wang, terrified of needles, suddenly recovered, grabbing the spiritual test kit and declaring he would return to school. When Chen Ko demonstrated the test, he emphasized that true cultivators could visualize power. Across the country, students tried to surpass their limits, but Wang, uninterested, ignored the challenge. Faction 9's chairman, Tang Jings, set a new record, surpassing Ji's decade-long achievement. Gua's own test results were disappointing, prompting him to question his abilities until Chen Ko intervened. Sun Rong ranked second overall but accidentally damaged Wang's room in the process. When it was Wang's turn, despite his lack of preparation, he casually took the test. His power sphere exceeded all expectations, soaring toward outer space. Wang's spiritual energy was recorded as an astronomical figure, with the system listing him at the top of the rankings with a null score. While most dismissed it as an error, Sun Rong felt there was more to it. Recognizing the danger of drawing attention, Wang decided to enlist Gua's help. He visited Giwa and asked him to hack into the mainframe to change his score to an average 1,176. Meanwhile, Tang Jings and his friend also tried to hack the system to reveal Wang's true score, only to find the number had overflowed, leaving them baffled. Realizing someone was altering the records, Tang Jings became anxious about the consequences if caught. As Gua encountered Tang Jing's name, he recalled him as an arrogant former classmate from the Immortal Cram High School. In a careless moment, Gua accidentally triggered the alarm while modifying Tang Jing's score but managed to log out, leaving one last prank by renaming Tang Jing's as Tang Birdie. The altered name sparked laughter among those who saw it, including Tang Jing's, who, despite the unexpected turn, expressed interest in meeting Wang and Gua. Meanwhile, on Faction 60's side, there was talk of Tang Birdie possibly joining as their fifth member, with Froggy acknowledging his potential. The annual Senior Phase Sword competition finally arrives, with Faction 60 facing off against Faction 59 in the first round. As the event is televised, Tang Jing's, now nicknamed Tang Birdie 2, is rigorously training. However, when asked in an interview about Wang, the top-ranked competitor, Tang Jing's becomes flustered and ends up slightly injuring himself. Despite this, he wishes Wang luck and leaves the interview. Instructor Pan worries about Faction 60's decision to participate in the competition, given their past losses to Faction 59. However, Wang Zuking and Ji are resolute, noting that they weren't even chosen to compete in previous years. Faction 60 has few strong members, with only Sun Rong boasting a force value above 1,000. To complete the team, they add Froggy 2, a green dog capable of transforming into a human, as their fifth member. Ji confirms Froggy 2's qualifications. Wang, Chen Ke Yuwa, Sun Rong, and Froggy 2 gather for a video call hosted by Wang Zuking to discuss preparations for the upcoming National Sword Competition. Wang urges everyone to ready their spiritual swords within 3 days. Chen Ko receives a valuable generational sword, Leo, from his father, while Gua proudly reveals his sword, crafted with the fangs of a level 3 Night Devil Tiger. Wang is surprised that first-year students already possess spiritual swords. Sun Rong shows off her sword, named Ocean, and Froggy 2 reveals his, called Sky. Wang stresses the patience required to cultivate a sword spirit. Tang Jing's became anxious about the consequences if caught. As Gua encountered Tang Jing's name, he recalled him as an arrogant former classmate from the Immortal Cram High School. In a careless moment, Gua accidentally triggered the alarm while modifying Tang Jing's score but managed to log out, leaving one last prank by renaming Tang Jing's as Tang Birdie. The altered name sparked laughter among those who saw it, including Tang Jing's, who, despite the unexpected turn, expressed interest in meeting Wang and Gua. Meanwhile, on Faction 60's side, there was talk of Tang Birdie possibly joining as their fifth member, with Froggy acknowledging his potential. The annual Senior Phase Sword competition finally arrives, with Faction 60 facing off against Faction 59 in the first round. As the event is televised, Tang Jing's, now nicknamed Tang Birdie 2, is rigorously training. Meanwhile, Wang, uncertain about revealing his true power, consults his parents. They discuss a recent explosion at a spiritual force chemical plant and the dangers of using items with high spiritual force density. In other news, the Cultivation Council has surrounded the Shadow Faction's headquarters, and for the first time, their leader has been captured. Ji, arriving at the scene, attracts media attention and expresses confidence in stopping the faction's plans again. Wang asks his parents about his sword and retrieves it from the attic. Just as he's about to open its box, Wang Zuking messages him, reminding him of their visit to Faction 59 the following day to get familiar with the venue. Still hesitant about joining the competition, Wang refrains from revealing his sword. The next day, Wang shows up at Faction 59 with a small sword that only Sun Rong and Froggy 2 can sense as powerful. Since the event will last 5 days, they'll be staying overnight. Wang pretends to have a stomachache to avoid competing, but Ji cancels his plans to accompany them, tied up with urgent work. Meanwhile, Ji falls into a trap. The captured leader of the Shadow Faction is a decoy, which explodes, creating a significant incident at the headquarters. Unaware, Faction 60's school bus heads to Faction 59. Wang's sword starts shaking, and a small figure tries to emerge from it. Wang repeatedly pushes the sword spirit back inside, reminding it of their agreement from the previous day. Amidst the growing tension between Faction 60 and Faction 59, Wang searches for an opportunity to pretend he's ill to escape participating. Meanwhile, a rivalry brews between Mrs. Pan and Mrs. Zai, leading to a frosty exchange where Mrs. Z mocks Mrs. Pan's team for including a low-force student. Seizing the moment, Wang fakes a collapse. Mrs. Z, determined to expose his real strength, subjects him to a rigorous test. Just then, Wang's sword spirit manifests, alerting him to a short circuit in his amulet, inadvertently revealing his true power. His immense spiritual energy shocks everyone, leaving them stunned as it knocks them all to the ground. Mrs. Pan blames Mrs. Z for his weakened state. At the same time, Jai detonates a hidden bomb, causing chaos as the leader of the Shadow faction, caught off guard, opts to withdraw. Medics arrive to tend to Wang, leaving Faction 59 bewildered by the origins of the enormous shockwave. As Sun Rong enters the school, she encounters Tang Jingyi, a graduate from her old cultivation school. Tensions flare and Sun Rong, angered by Faction 59's recent actions, nearly punches Tang Jingyi. Luckily, her friend Yi Shibei intervenes before the situation escalates. Chen Ko attempts to step in, but Faction 59 students block him. Just as Sun Rong is about to strike, Wang Zuqing steps in, calming her down. Faction 59 departs, leaving Wang under medical care. In the operating room, medics remove Wang's bandages, only to find him gone. He'd used a flash trick to escape, further damaging his amulet. Wang contacts his father, sharing his predicament. Meanwhile, Mrs. Z sets the competition rules, detailing the 5 elemental altars: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Due to an attack on Faction 60's campus, the competition venue is changed to Faction 59. With his spiritual energy restricted, Wang follows his sword spirit's guidance to find a way out of Faction 59. Just then, Faction 59's mysterious 5th member appears, creating a wave of water and offering Sun Rong a flower. Wang proposes an alliance against Faction 59, which she declines. Wang then showcases his power by brutally beating Chen Ko until Wang intervenes, astonishing everyone by healing Chen Ko's damaged arm. The repair strains Wang's amulet, but he presses on. The untested power within Wang catches the attention of the Shadow faction leader. Meanwhile, Wang makes a failed attempt to flirt with Sun Rong. Wang, returning with his dry noodles, witnesses Wang tied up as punishment for his antics. The Shadow faction leader, Zhang Liang, has bound both Wang and Wang with powerful ropes, throwing them on top of a building, unaware that Wang holds a hidden destructive potential. When Zhang Liang mocks Wang as a weakling, Wang's sword spirit awakens, helping him stay calm by distracting him with thoughts of crispy noodles. As Zhang Liang, disguised as Wang, plans to infiltrate Faction 60 and target Sun Rong, Mrs. Z mocks Mrs. Pan for choosing a green dog as Faction 60's 5th member. Zhang Liang, still disguised, storms into a conference room, claiming Wang has been kidnapped. Meanwhile, Wang's captor offers water to Wang, who tries to charm his way to freedom. Taunting his captor as weak, he's shocked when the guard reveals a hidden spiritual force. Ji arrives at Faction 59 as Zhang Liang, in disguise, fabricates a story about Wang's abduction by a blonde woman. Undeterred, Sun Rong fights her way past guards to rescue Wang. The old driver, who had been guarding them, neutralizes enemies with a wolfberry attack. He then summons backup, preparing to face Sun Rong. In response, she uses her 13 swords technique. Outside Faction 59, Wang Ling's father asks to meet his son, hoping for an exception to the rules. The situation grows more chaotic as explosions draw the guard's attention, and Froggy too declares he'd like to have the old driver as a snack. Sun Rong struggles as the driver reminisces about his boss, Zhang Liang, and compares her abilities to his own at her age. Using gravity, he pulls Sun Rong to the ground, but suddenly, time rewinds to the start of their battle. The driver then drops Wang, giving Wang a chance to reveal himself discreetly. Sun Rong, entering the old building, spots Master Jai detaining the driver in Wang's place. With the hostages secured, the driver is taken into custody. Wang instructs his sword spirit to stay close to Wang, ensuring no escape attempts. Jiang Lang, still disguised as Wang, devising a last-minute plan, seeks to cancel the competition by stopping Wang's participation, shocks everyone by unexpectedly joining the competition. Each team is equipped with specialized communication devices, but Wang's mind-reading attempts don't work on Zhang Lang. Although initially hesitant, Wang is drawn into the competition by his friend's rescue efforts. Feeling compelled to contribute, he resolves to give his all, just in time as the competition begins. Mr. Wang warns Ji of the danger if Wang's amulet breaks. It could lead to world destruction. The amulet not only seals Wang's immense power but also restrains his emotions, keeping his spirit in balance. Meanwhile, Yisha detects a mismatch in Wang's spiritual force, prompting her team to remain cautious. Shino positions himself near the metal altar, while Yisha uses her hacking abilities to track everyone's movements. Sun Rong takes her place by the water altar, the dog guards the fire altar, and Wang's spiritual source appears near the dog, though Wang remains undetectable. Faction 59's 4th member stands at the center, but Giwa, observing from afar, quickly becomes the target of Tang Jingyi's surprise attack. After Gua loses a life, he retaliates and begins to flee. Tang Jingyi orders Yisha to confront Shino at the metal altar while he heads for the water altar to face Sun Rong. As Zhang Fei approaches the wood altar, he finds Wang lying on the ground, only to be intercepted by Giwa, who attacks him. Sun Rong, meanwhile, is attacked by Tang Jingyi but deftly dodges and removes a sword from the water altar, causing both swords to transform into human forms. The competition escalates with tactical maneuvers, ambushes, and the emergence of human-shaped swords. Sun Rong strikes back at Tang Jingyi with a massive water dragon, but he cuts it down with a single blow. Faction 59 gains control of 3 altars, and Tang Jingyi calls for Buang's help against Sun Rong. Jiang Lang, seizing the moment, takes action as Yisha begins claiming the metal altar. Tang Jingyi unleashes his blowing snow technique, freezing Sun Rong's water-based attacks. Knowing she must defeat Tang Jingyi before Buang arrives, she attacks his sword relentlessly. Faction 59 captures 4 of the 5 altars, but just as they do, Buang arrives, shattering one of Sun Rong's swords with a loud clash. The noise breaks the ice, giving Sun Rong a chance to escape. As Tang Jingyi moves toward the water altar, he tells Buang that he doesn't care about his true identity as long as they win. With Faction 59 controlling all 5 altars, the energy meter fills rapidly until one altar unexpectedly shifts allegiance to Faction 60. Froggy 2 defeats Liang Fei as Sun Rong races to help Gua, intensifying the competition's tension. Exhausted after battling Giwa, Liang Fei realizes a unique limitation: Gua's mouth cannon can't repeat the same word immediately, making it difficult for him to think of new phrases. Froggy 2, hiding in the bushes, plans to absorb the spiritual force leaking from the clash. However, upon spotting Wang, Froggy retreats strategically. Liang Fei pretends to kick Wang, feigning an attack that angers Gua, who then unleashes a barrage of phrases with his mouth cannon. Wang, seeing his friend's efforts, feels for him but knows he must stay emotionless due to the amulet's fragile state. As Wang's amulet starts to crack, Froggy 2 leaps onto Wang's neck, absorbing his negative energy and enabling Wang to access his spiritual force. Together, Wang and Froggy merge their powers. When Liang Fei challenges him, Wang effortlessly shatters his sword with a simple touch, sending Liang flying out of the arena. This allows Faction 60 to seize control of the wood altar, giving them a critical edge in the competition. Mrs. Z starts complimenting Wang Zukin, asking if he taught Wang the human-beast combination. Wang Zukin lies, claiming that he was the one who invented it. Yisha updates Tang Jingyi, saying the spiritual energy of the 5 guys has fused with the dogs, overpowering Liang Fei. This fusion creates an immense force, difficult for anyone to control. Baha takes charge of the wood altar, but Sun Rong's position remains unknown to Yisha. Wang heads for the metal altar, while Tang orders Bang to move towards the earth altar, giving Liang Zhang the task of recovering the fire altar. Faction 60 struggles under the weight of the combined spiritual force, but Faction 59 maintains the upper hand with more altars in their control. Tang predicts Wang's next steps, expecting him to target the water altar. Tang knows direct combat will result in heavy casualties, so Faction 59 must avoid fighting Wang head-on. His plan is to keep his forces moving, swiftly taking altars and securing victory. Tang commands Yisha to head to the wood altar, to report back on the status of the spiritual fusion. Wang arrives at the metal altar and takes control of it, his face forming a rare, subtle smile. Chino notices Wang's strange expression, which is something only Wang's father can interpret. Faction 59 regains control of both the wood and fire altars, shifting the balance back in their favor. At this pivotal moment, Wang recognizes Tang Jingyi's strategy: 3 racing horses, realizing that even though he's powerful, taking the rest of the altars would lead to entrapment. He decides to increase his speed and grab all the altars before anyone else can. Just as Wang is about to act, Sun Rong speaks up unexpectedly. She's revealed to be allied with Gua. Gua and Sun Rong move toward the fire altar, with Gua mocking Liang Zhang and Sun Rong attempting to take control. Meanwhile, Wang secures the water altar, and Tang, with Yisha, rushes toward the fire altar, sparking a tense race. Liang Zhang sees Sun Rong heading for the fire altar, adding even more intensity to the unfolding struggle. Tang Jingyi reaches the metal altar, where Chino is already stationed, preparing to defend it. Tang Jingyi orders Zhang Liang, disguised as Bufang, to do whatever it takes for victory. Sun Rong and Tang Jingyi, despite their shared past and family ties, are bitter rivals, which increases the personal stakes in the competition. Gua strikes from behind using his mouth cannon. Liang Jiang trips, falling onto a rock, and the attack hits Sun Rong. Though Sun Rong defends, she is knocked down the steps of the altar, remembering her father's words about their proud family line. She vows not to let the Sun family be humiliated anymore. Tang Jingyi arrives at the fire altar, criticizing Liang Jiang for her delays. Giwa attempts to interfere, but Tang Jingyi destroys the barricades he set up. Sun Rong faces off with Liang Jiang, their swords clashing fiercely, while Tang Jingyi's spiritual sword breaks Sun Rong's weapon. Tang Jingyi strikes Liang Jiang, expressing his intent to win with a perfect 5-0 score, but upon evaluating the situation, he begins to consider settling for a 4-1 score instead. If Faction 60 manages to capture the fire altar, Faction 59 will focus on gaining more altars to preserve their lead, which might force them to abandon one of their own altars. Tang Jingyi orders Buang to the metal altar and Yisha to the water altar, each tasked with closely watching Wang's movements. Even if Wang captures an unguarded altar, Faction 59 will replace it quickly, turning the tide back in their favor. Sun Rong must secure the fire altar while Chino holds off Bufang. Chino and Bufang clash in an intense battle, with Bufang trying to manipulate Chino's emotions. Janling refrains from using her long-range abilities, and Ji, watching through cameras, senses something off about Bufang. Realizing that Bufang is using fallen metal leaves to launch a joint attack, Chino fights back, but the pressure keeps mounting. Tang Jingyi grows frustrated with Bufang's slow progress at the metal altar. Sun Rong, determined to face Tang Jingyi alone, orders Gua to leave the fire altar. He hesitates, but Sun Rong challenges Tang Jingyi with a single sword. Hua, however, summons the spirit of the Devil's Teeth sword, knowing it's his only chance to use it. Chino, overwhelmed with emotions, cries, feeling powerless. Mr. Wang warns Mrs. Z that continuing the competition could cause catastrophic consequences. Sun Rong struggles against Tang Jingyi, and Chino tries to hold onto his altar. Suddenly, Yisha informs Tang Jingyi that both the metal and fire altars are releasing tremendous bursts of spiritual force. In an unexpected move, Sun Rong sacrifices the spirit of her sword to summon the Phoenix spirit, while Chino unleashes his true Buddha power. Together, they manage to secure both altars, giving Faction 60 a surprising lead with a score of 4-1. Zhang Langang, unable to keep up her facade any longer, reveals her true identity. Wang captures the wood altar. Sun Rong's careful planning becomes clear. Faction 60's best option is to secure the fire altar, with Giwa and Sun Rong working together, while Chino defends metal. But this would only result in a 3-2 score, and Faction 59 would still hold the lead. For Faction 60 to win, an additional move is needed, and Wang, with his immense spiritual power, is the one to make it. After separating from Froggy 2, Wang sneaks into the undefended wood altar. Froggy 2, in human form, stays behind to distract Yisha, using his frog-like face to scare her. Yisha's powers don't affect Froggy 2, as his amphibian nature makes him immune to her control. The web Yisha created accidentally helps Froggy 2 locate her. Gua decides to remain near the fire altar and urges Sun Rong to target the earth altar. Wang's father expresses concern over Wang's tendency to ignore failure and success. Wang's indifference to these concepts is about to change, however, as an inner light begins to rise within him, transforming into the warm sun of spring, ready to ignite his fire. Du Hao reaches the metal altar, where he finds the injured Chino. In a sudden twist, Froggy 2 senses something and rushes toward Wang, while Wang's spiritual sword detects emotional shifts within its master. Wang hesitates, unsure of his next step. Sun Rong arrives and manages to calm him. Chino, still wounded, prompts Wang to ask Mrs. Z for medical help. But things take a darker turn when Zhang Liang suddenly appears behind Sun Rong and shatters her soul, breaking through Wang's emotional defenses. Froggy 2 stops time to prevent any irreversible damage. Wang, overwhelmed by emotions, attacks Zhang Liang, nearly killing her. But as he hesitates, his focus shifts back to Sun Rong, rushing to her side. Wang attempts his grand trick of repairing, but it fails. Zhang Liang's attack has shattered Sun Rong's soul beyond any repair, rendering Wang's abilities useless. Froggy 2 halts the flow of time to keep Sun Rong's life hanging by a thread, but her survival is uncertain. Sun Rong's spirit is beyond repair, and Wang's sword solemnly declares that no one can save a life that is already lost. The cruelty of Zhang Liang's actions has left an indelible mark on Sun Rong. Despite Wang's self-blame for not eliminating Zhang Liang sooner, Froggy 2 intervenes, offering a glimmer of hope. With Froggy 2's unique power to convert spiritual force into a ray of light moving at the speed of light, he creates a stillness in time, offering a potential solution to the chaos. Fueled by both desperation and resolve, Wang channels an immense spiritual power, a force 10 times the size of Earth. Froggy 2 tries to talk him down, warning him of the consequences of tampering with time. However, Wang remains unshaken, enlisting Froggy 2's help to manage his negative energy as they set off on a dangerous path together. Their combined energy, infused with an overwhelming amount of spiritual force, creates an electric surge that causes the timeline to twist back. They return to a defining moment one where Wang, once tormented by a bald bully, finds an unexpected ally in Chino and Guo. The world around them appears similar but altered. Sun Rong is absent, and Wang now leads a peaceful life, untouched by the previous chaos. As he runs after a black limousine, he realizes that Sun Rong isn't inside this time. Through Froggy 2's manipulation of time and Wang's control over space, paired with a tremendous surge of spiritual energy, a new reality is born. This new world engulfs the old one, bringing its destruction. The shockwaves ripple through the underworld, where the monarch detects a disturbance. His white assistant mistakes it for an earthquake, while his black assistant presents the soul of Sun Rong. The monarch, surprised by the DNA match, dismisses it as a mere vision. Meanwhile, Wang remains unaware of what is unfolding. The monarch erases Sun Rong from existence by altering the records, sending her soul back. Wang's spiritual sword, witnessing these events, informs him of the changes. Jin pleads with Sun Rong to intervene, to stop Wang from creating a new world. Sun Rong, determined to stop him, rushes to Wang. But despite the challenges, she finally succeeds in halting his attempt to destroy 3 worlds. When she pierces him, their fates converge. Wang and Sun Rong are caught in the balance of creation and destruction. Time rewinds once again, this time taking them back to when Chino faced Zhang Ling. Just as Zhang Ling was about to reveal her true identity, Wang intervenes, using his spiritual force to subdue her. At the Earth faction's altar, 60 emerges victorious in a competition with a flawless score of 5-0. As Sun Rong prepares to approach Wang, she is swarmed by reporters eager to hear her thoughts on the historic victory. However, when Wang attempts to repair the world, his usual methods fail. The laws of nature are disrupted, and the only option left is to reverse time. But doing so erases Sun Rong's memories of saving the world and of Wang's attempts to create a new one for her. Despite the sacrifice, they agree to reverse time. Zhang Ling is taken into custody, and Mr. Wang places an amulet around Wang's neck. The energy of the spiritual realm is draining, and Wang is on the brink of collapse, burdened by his overwhelming abilities. Just as he teeters on the edge, his father arrives, placing a restraining talisman on Wang's neck. Z, a master with a peculiar curly hairstyle, reports to his superior about the evil woman responsible for the chaos. At Wang's school, he quietly sits, yearning for a normal life. His teacher announces a spiritual energy test, determining which students will remain in the elite class. Fo, desperate to pass, approaches Wang in the bathroom, asking for help. Although Wang is initially annoyed by the request, he agrees to make pills to help Fo pass the test. The principal explains that the test involves enduring a thunderbolt strike. Wang and Fo prepare performance-enhancing pills. Their instructor catches them but is tricked into thinking they are drying their clothes. Fo consumes the pills by mistake, briefly becoming superpowered before Wang smacks him back into his usual state. When it's Wang's turn, he summons a thunderbolt so massive that it causes a citywide electrical malfunction. Wang transforms his fairy assistant into a wooden sword, which Sun Rong uses to sever the cord and shut off the machine. However, this creates a tear in the dimension, drawing the attention of a demon lord from a hellish realm. He questions his assistant about the crack, which leads to the human world and is draining its spiritual energy. The demon recalls sending a frog to conquer humanity, unaware that the frog has since become a dog, living peacefully with humans. The demon orders his assistant to check on Froggy. Froggy, receiving word of his master's arrival, runs to Wang for protection. Meanwhile, Instructor Pam, dismayed that Wang passed the test, decides to visit him. She invites the principal along, though he seems preoccupied with something else. Froggy's master arrives in the human world, sending a message that sends Froggy into a panic. Wang is working on a new talisman to improve his speech when Froggy accidentally misplaces it, causing a leak in the spiritual energy. Froggy swallows the energy to avert disaster. Instructor Pam arrives at their home, and Wang, now displaying his enhanced abilities, impresses her by completing all the tasks he had neglected in the past. His parents, concerned about the power he's wielding, try to distract Pam by taking her to a private area. Meanwhile, Wang's father tweaks the talisman, but things go awry when Wang brings all the furniture in the house to life. His mother diverts Pam with a sob story about Wang's troubled past, while Wang uses Froggy as a weapon to subdue the floating furniture. This gives Froggy's position to his master, who teleports into Wang's home. The talisman malfunctions once more, and Froggy's master arrives, only to be obliterated. Pam returns to school, and Froggy finds the remnants of his master, now reduced to dust. In the sky, a hybrid of an airplane and dagger soars, and turbulence strikes. A beautiful woman, boasting about her power, is sucked out of the plane during an explosion. Her companion, Idler, screams her name. Back at school, Fatty discusses the crash when Instructor Pam announces that a new student, Lin Zio, will be joining the elite class. She catches the attention of all the male students, especially one in particular. Principal Kang is on the trail of the world's most feared assassin, believed to have perished in the crash. He finds Lin Zio, only to realize she's not the real deal, but a doll. The true assassin is revealed to be back at the school, where Lin Zio plans to free her imprisoned sister, Zhang Liang, hidden beneath the school. Fatty and Baldy follow her, only to be caught in a compromising situation when Lin Zio starts changing clothes. Before they can fully see her, she chases them into a hole that leads underground. The three of them fall in, with Wang following close behind. Wang finds Lin Zio's sister in a cage. Initially, she thinks Wang has come to rescue her, but her hopes are dashed when he reveals he's there to kill her for breaking their contract. Just as she's about to strike, a group of students intervenes, and Wang teleports them to a secret hideout. There, they uncover the truth behind the plane crash, which occurred when Froggy entered the human world. Lin Zio reveals she was sucked into the demon world during the crash, where she learned of her sister's rise to power. A fierce confrontation unfolds, with Principal Kang intervening. The truth about the plane crash and the chain of events surrounding it is revealed. Meanwhile, Fatty and Baldy, curious about sword maintenance, visit a shop where Lai Zi works. She shares her story of being abandoned by her sword spirit, which walked out on her when she was young. When Tang arrives, demanding sword repairs, Lai Zi reluctantly agrees to work overtime, accepting extra payment for the job. Wang and the others, wanting to help Lai Zi, decide to forge her a sword of her own. They sneak into the shop at night, gathering materials. However, Wang's material breaks the machine, resulting in an unexpected mishap as they melt everything down in a furnace. The following day, Lin arrives at the shop to find everyone waiting for her. They hand her a strange, musty sword, and she immediately bursts into tears. It turns out that this sword is identical to her old one. Tang arrives soon after and challenges Lei Ziyu to a duel as his trial opponent. They head to the arena where Tang demonstrates his sword skills. He charges at Lin, but the material in Wang's sword has turned it into a demonic weapon, draining Tang's spiritual energy. Tang transforms into an old, disfigured man, and just as he nears death, Wang's sword returns and shatters his weapon. Lin thanks everyone for crafting such a remarkable sword. Wang's sword kid jokingly mentions that it was well maintained by some ladies, revealing that the woman who took care of it was Lin's long-lost spirit sister. Meanwhile, Li Ziyu becomes possessed by Froggy's master, whose ring was used in Wang's sword. He begins talking about seeking revenge on Sun Rong, whose ancestors once wiped out part of the demon clan. On campus, a girl nervously offers a lucky charm to her crush, but is caught by Principal Wang, who plays the role of an overly strict authority figure. Sun Rong worries for the girl, but is approached by Lin Zio, who offers help as she lives on campus. Zhang Ling tries to escape from prison, using a magical arrow to weaken the seal. Fatty, amused by the situation, talks to Bailey about the Mirror of the Moon Bridge, which scares Bailey due to its strange occurrences. Sun Rong, in an attempt to communicate, taps Wang on the head with a ruler to summon him to the back gate of the school, but Fatty and Bailey follow them, causing more trouble. The group sneaks around the school at night, only to be frightened when they encounter Lai Ziyu, who is there to guide them. Zhang Ling escapes through the toilet drains, causing chaos when she reappears and scares everyone. Wang catches up and sends her back to Principal Kang's private quarters. She attempts to use a lift to escape but runs into Wang once more, who sends her back into the depths. Sun Rong is left alone with Wang so that she can carry out her mission in peace. However, Froggy's demon master waits for midnight to take Sun Rong back to the demon world and avenge the destruction of her ancestors. Sun Rong tries to give Wang a love charm, but Lin Xiao intervenes, attempting to drag her into the demon world. Zhang Ling arrives just in time to stop Lin Xiao, knocking the demon master out of his body and sending him back to the demon world. However, Wang punches Lin Xiao into oblivion. Meanwhile, Bailey watches a live stream of an online influencer and sends her a gift, but his efforts go unnoticed until she invites him to a voice chat. The mysterious figure with curly hair, also known as G, summons ancient beings to discuss urgent matters, revealing that demons are planning to invade the human world. Wang is chilling to music when Fatty mentions Bailey's punishment by his father for being pathetic, but Bailey explains that he was simply trying to help the influencer. His father understands, but when he discovers Bailey gave her a family heirloom, he loses his temper and destroys Bailey's phone. Later, Wang, Fatty, and Lin Xiao discuss the situation, and Lin Xiao mocks the idea of transferring spiritual energy over the internet, calling it witchcraft. Despite the warning, Bailey joins another online stream, suspecting the influencer might be a demon. Fatty tries to hack her live stream, but the influencer proves to be too powerful. Sun Rong attempts to seduce Bailey to distract him, and while it has a brief effect, he soon becomes entranced again by the influencer. As Sun Rong's seduction fails, Bailey's father becomes disappointed in him, slashing his computer in frustration. In a fit of rage, Bailey transfers his spirit into the influencer's room, only to discover she is an ugly demon disguised as a human, stealing spiritual energy. Wang intervenes, pulling Bailey back through the internet, just as the demon attempts to drain him. Meanwhile, Sun Rong's father faces financial ruin and seeks help from a friend, but is turned down. The group visits Sun Rong's family, discovering they've lost everything, but they remain hopeful about rebuilding. On the other hand, Tang's family is secretly thrilled about the Sun family's downfall, having worked with a mysterious figure named Uncle Richmond, who manipulated the stock market to bankrupt them. Sun Rong confides in Wang, who offers assistance, but she refuses, preferring not to rely on anyone else. The group soon learns that the Sun family has agreed to sign away their spiritual land to the Tang family. They rush to stop the signing, but Tang's goons try to block their way. Wang charges in to assist Sun Rong, who is about to sign the agreement, but she stops and declares it's her decision to sacrifice her family's land to save them. Wang, disappointed, discovers that a demonic creature has been draining the Sun family's energy, causing their downfall. He destroys the creature, and to everyone's surprise, the energy returns to the Sun family, revitalizing their business. Meanwhile, Ji arrives and freezes Tang's family, revealing they were colluding with the demons. Sun Rong's family has been revived, and she gives Wang a loving smile as a sword art competition begins. The host announces the judges, which include some strange dancers that cause Principal Kang to act suspiciously, much to the annoyance of his assistant. The first participant is Sun Rong, who performs a stunning sword dance, controlling 12 swords gracefully. However, Uncle Richmond interferes, causing her to lose control, and the swords almost hit a female judge. Principal Kang jumps in to save her, and Fatty, surprisingly, shows off his Riz skills. The crowd boos Sun Rong, but Wang reassures her that it wasn't her fault. The show's ratings soar, and soon, spiritual energy is flowing in abundantly. Next up is Fatty and Bailey, who present a comedy act where Fatty throws a sword and Bailey tries to catch it blindfolded. However, Uncle Richmond meddles again, and the sword hits Bailey's bald head. Another participant, a girl from Faction 59, performs an amazing act, causing the ratings to skyrocket with spiritual energy pouring in. Lin Xiao performs next, casting a mesmerizing spell and making a tree grow from nothing before setting it on fire, but she cannot extinguish the flames. Sun Rong steps in, and together they finish their performances as the viewer count hits 1 billion. Uncle Richmond emerges from the shadows, using his magic to turn the viewers into his puppets. However, it's revealed that the host had cleverly sabotaged his plans. The host turns into a bodybuilder and punches Uncle Richmond into oblivion. But then, the host transforms into an evil version of himself, making everyone but Sun Rong, Wang, and Lin Xiao his puppets. Zhang Ling attempts to seduce a guard for the keys to her cage but fails miserably. Suddenly, all the guards fall under the control of Uncle Richmond's mind control technique, and the 3 remaining heroes crawl around, trying not to be seen by the mind-controlled masses. A photo of them is taken and posted online, and the mind-controlled crowd chases after them. After a brief fight, Wang uses his sword to jump to the roof with Sun Rong and Lin Ziyo, and they plan their next move to break the curse. They realize the zombies are climbing the building, and Bailey, also cursed, pulls off an ultimate move to reach them. He confesses his love for Sun Rong, but she rejects him, which breaks his curse and frees him. With one final scream from Sun Rong, the zombies return to normal. As the group attempts to livestream Sun Rong's message to the world, they find that Liang Jiang has already arrived, taunting them from afar. Before they can do anything, a meteor strikes the cell tower, knocking Liang Jiang to the ground. Wang uses his magical eye to see that Uncle Richmond sent the meteor down. Unable to broadcast from the ground, Wang takes Sun Rong aboard the cute kiddo's sword to travel to the space station, where they can broadcast to the entire city. Bailey and Lin Ziyo stay behind to cover them from the infected. On the way to the space station, Wang starts to speak, and Sun Rong thinks he's going to confess his love for her, but he instead remarks that Bailey and Lin Ziyo could have come with them since no one was checking their tickets. At the space station, Sun Rong gives a long, boring speech, freeing everyone from mind control. Uncle Richmond transforms into a snake demon and rides a meteor toward Earth, intending to destroy the world with himself. Wang throws his sword and destroys the meteor, enjoying a romantic moment with Sun Rong. Finally, Wang's class visits an animation studio, where the owner shows them the harsh reality of overworked employees trying to meet deadlines. The owner, Mr. Tang, introduces the group to the producer, a cheerful woman who tells them that the director has disappeared. Mr. Tang gets upset but quickly appoints the elite class as the director for the day. They visit the key animation department, where an animator shows them the process, but Baldy disrupts his work and insists on a 24 FPS animation. The animator, using all his energy, creates it, but Baldy demands 60 FPS. Pushed to the limit, the animator snaps and jumps out the window. Next, in the photography department, a worker uses a computer to demonstrate his skills, but Baldy criticizes the lack of soul that hand-drawn work has, enraging the worker. In the art department, they find an old man working hard on a computer scene, and though the producer begs them not to interfere, Baldy and Fatty unplug the power, ruining his work. Shocked, the man collapses into dust. The producer breaks down as the deadline looms, so Baldy steps in, taking charge to help them animate. The world around them turns into simple drawings, and with Wang's assistance, they complete the frames, only for the supervisor to reject it. The episode's incomplete, and just as everything starts collapsing, Wang breaks the fourth wall, fetching the director, who was occupied with a dancer. With the director back, the world stabilizes. Uncle Richmond, a Demon King subordinate, directed the meteor strike on the Demon King's orders. When Wang destroys it, the Demon King retaliates, telling his lieutenant to light the dimensional lamps. Meanwhile, Wang and Sun Rong try to enjoy time alone on a space station, but they suddenly become 3D. A man with curls calls a meeting, attempting to stop demons from entering the human world through a crack Wang made earlier. Sealing it will take an enormous amount of spiritual energy, and no one can reach the world's top practitioner. Stuck in a loop on the space station, Wang and Sun Rong realize that a demon counselor sealed them in that dimension to allow the demons easier access to Earth. Demon battles erupt on Earth, but heroes struggle. Sun Rong loses hope, but Wang uses control panels to boost their quality and alter the situation. In the meantime, an old master unleashes a grand technique, defeating a large demon, but then the Demon King sends a horde of dragon-infested meteors toward Earth. Sun Rong watches in despair as the world faces destruction, but Wang uses mirrors and particle effects to overload the counselor's GPU, breaking the dimensional seal. With this, Wang returns to Earth's battlefield, ready to confront the demons until a butterfly girl appears and teleports him away. The story flashes back to young Ling Zi practicing with her father, learning her people, the Butterfly Clan, were conquered by demons. Her father sent her to Earth, where a sword spirit raised her. She shares her story with Wang, and they set off to confront the Demon Emperor. On Earth, everyone despairs at Wang's absence until Sun Rong, broadcasting from the space station, delivers a motivational speech, rekindling their fighting spirit. Back on the demon planet, Ling Zi brings Wang to the Demon Emperor, requesting her sword spirit's release. The demon counselor tries to make Wang kneel but fails, and Wang pushes him aside, provoking the Demon King, who strikes Wang only to be brushed off. Meanwhile, Sun Rong, fighting on the space station, feels reassured as Wang's sword returns to her. Wang and the Demon Emperor engage in a fierce battle, moving around the demon world until Wang stops him and hurls him back into his castle. Pleading for mercy, the Emperor's counselor mistakenly removes a restraint on the Emperor, releasing uncontrollable spiritual energy that obliterates the demon world and its dragons. Returning to Earth with Ling Zi, Wang asks her to call his dad for a new spiritual seal to prevent him from accidentally destroying Earth. Curly-haired guy takes credit for the victory, and Sun's company thrives. Earth returns to normal, though Wang's heroics remain unknown as he naps on a train to school. Just as he's about to enjoy some noodles, a demon attacks, accidentally toppling a rock into his bowl. His primary concern is for his food, not the town's damage. More demons have arrived on Earth, and one nearly attacks Wang, but a girl in a helicopter dispatches it with missiles. Ling Zi soon finds her friend Guo, who's amazed that the school looks untouched after the demon attacks. Froggy used his powers to restore it, though Guo didn't finish his homework. Sun arrives at school in a flashy car, only to have her entrance outdone by Yoshiko, who arrives by helicopter. Sun ignores her and walks away with Wang. Later, Yoshiko finds Sun's in an ordinary class and angrily ousts the one responsible, intending to dominate as she believes the place has weakened post-demon attack. Yoshiko tries bribing Wang with noodles, which annoys Sun, leading to a cooking contest judged by Wang. Yoshiko's food smells heavenly, but when Wang tastes it, Sun sees his disappointment and serves instant noodles instead. The simplicity of Sun's dish wins the competition, leaving Yoshiko fuming. As a child, Froggy once wished to become the Demon King to protect everyone, but he feels underappreciated now. The next day, everyone plans a surprise birthday for him, and Wang retrieves a cake, though he ends up covered in frosting. Froggy remembers his mom's advice to cook on high heat to avoid disasters, but the cake suddenly comes to life, taking control of Chen, who throws it on everyone, spreading the effect. Wang intervenes, destroying the cakes, and Froggy, sad his birthday ended too soon, sacrifices some of his lifespan to reverse time, hoping to enjoy his day. Froggy and Ling Zi enter the surprise room, where, to his dismay, everyone wishes Ling Zi a happy birthday instead. This moment hits Froggy with a sense of loneliness and reality. Meanwhile, Pan, still waiting for Master Zhu for a date, calls him, only to realize he's abroad. Later, they hike up a mountain for herbs, but rushing leads to trouble when a monster appears. Just as they try to escape, another creature from volcanic areas shows up and takes down the first monster in a fierce clash. All of a sudden, a ball is thrown at a monster. Capturing it, turns out it was Dang's ball, who's thrilled to share that this game lets players capture monsters to make them their pets. Dang even offers login info and 10 free draws, though Guo's reaction is explosive, taking offense for personal reasons. Later, they free Froggy, who explains he's upset because people abandon these pets as soon as they're bored, a practice that strikes a nerve since his family cares for such creatures. As they venture through the forest, they encounter various traps. Froggy guides them to an injured unicorn, whom they rush to heal at a clinic. With effort, Wang feeds the creature a crispy noodle, heals it completely. They name it Sylvie after its silver hue. Dee soon appears and stakes a challenge for Sylvie if Dang wins. He gets to keep Sylvie if Guo wins. Dee's banned from Guo's family's mountain. The match begins, but Sylvie initially struggles against Dang's beast. When the noodle's power kicks in, Sylvie transforms, gaining enough strength to chase off Dang's beast, who flees in terror. With Sylvie victorious, Dee's luck sours as he gets ensnared in his own trap and loses his sword to a quick bunny, who's soon joined by a massive, beastly bunny. Dee's screams suggest he isn't having the best day. Meanwhile, Yoshiko's bodyguard reports that her Beast Hunter Go app has surpassed 10 million downloads, boosting her ego. She steps out of her helicopter, but Sylvie not Yoshiko grabs the crowd's attention. Yoshiko's rank drops to 4th in popularity, and her attempts to impress fail to sway anyone. Guo tells others how he saved Sylvie, but Sylvie still prefers Wang. Froggy soon eyes Sylvie as a potential meal, but Wang intercepts. Wang creates a protective magic circle around Sylvie. Though unaware of this, Yoshiko steps into it in her quest for Sylvie's blood, resulting in a comical burst of magic that repels her. The next day, a teacher can't resist Sylvie's cuteness and quickly goes soft, though Yoshiko plots to enlarge Sylvie for easier blood collection. Feeding Sylvie something, she's surprised when Sylvie grows enormous and, like a young creature, leaves a mess that infuriates the teacher. Guo takes Sylvie to the gym, but Yoshiko follows, and Sylvie swallows Yoshiko's stone, leaving Yoshiko panicked. Later, Wang and Guo go to check on Sylvie, only to witness her turning into a giant monster and escaping. Sylvie even injures Guo as he tries to protect her, while Wang and Froggy watch. With no choice, Wang releases Froggy's seal, turning him into a huge beast, leading to a showdown between Froggy and Sylvie. Sylvie tries to attack, but Froggy absorbs her spiritual energy, then coughs her out along with Guo, who is rushed to the hospital. Wang realizes Sylvie will always be seen as a wild creature and opens a portal, sending her to a place where she can belong. In a flashback, young Wang admires a wooden sword in a market, but his father is stunned by the high price and leaves with Wang. Years later, the city's top swordsmen hold a competition, and Guo briefs Wang and Chen about a mysterious, intimidating swordsman dressed in white who bends their swords, humiliating them. Chen dismisses it as an exaggeration, yet their coach calls for a duel where Wang's wooden sword displays magnetic properties and bends Chen's weapon. Their coach, Yin, explains that Wang's sword has reached a stage where it's attracted to opposite gender energies, suggesting they visit a tomb for answers. There, Yin's sister examines the sword, but it's drawn to her, as if alive. Meanwhile, the mysterious white swordsman appears, and Yin's sister manipulates Wang's sword, persuading it to help. In battle, Wang recalls purchasing the wooden sword without its sheath to save money, and the white swordsman recognizes him, ultimately being defeated as their swords merge. A new plot follows Lord Thunder, who's monitoring an item at an auction. Wang loses a card game due to weak cards, while Yoshiko buys Wang's old underpants, sold by his father. A white dragon up for auction draws high bids, and Juo buys it for Wang, though Wang later breaks the seal, turning the dragon into a card to win a game. As Wang and his friends walk to school, they notice exorcists sparring. Guo shows disdain, and Chen, dressed as an exorcist, is teased at school, leading to an argument. When the principal intervenes, Sun and Guo plan to expose Chen, but the exorcists act polite, foiling their scheme. Trying again, they capture footage of the exorcists ignoring an elderly lady, only for Chen to rescue her, but the exorcists dismiss her as a monster, forcing them all to fight. Following this incident, the exorcists invite Sun and Guo to join but exclude Wang, which disappoints his friends. They plead with the exorcists to reconsider, yet are turned down as they view Wang as weak. That night, Chen visits Wang and shares why he joined the exorcists, trying to motivate him. They go to the exorcists' headquarters to join but find themselves trapped, realizing the friendly exterior was all a ruse and the exorcists intend to kill Chen for seeing too much, leaving them in a tight spot. Wang takes charge, defeating both the monsters and the exorcists. When Chen arrives, acting aggressively, Wang realizes he's under a spell. After reciting some spells, Chen snaps out of it, and upon waking, he finds the area in ruins and Wang unconscious. When Chen revives him, Wang cleverly thanks Chen for saving him, not wanting anyone to discover his powers. The next morning, Jai arrives at the exorcist house with his junior, who poses as various workers to gain entry but keeps getting turned away. Frustrated, Jai finally blows open the door, shocking both him and his junior with the sight of countless monsters inside. Overwhelmed, the junior flees, but Wang, who happens to pass by, notices the chaos and defeats every monster. Moments later, the junior returns with backup, only to find the monsters already vanquished, and everyone assumes Jai is the hero. As Jai's award ceremony arrives, he prepares backstage, then steps on stage to cheers. In his speech, he recounts his journey with the 7-Star Squad and a brave boy he once saved. However, a video of Wang defeating monsters suddenly plays on the projector, exposing the truth. This revelation leads to Jai being suspended, accused of fraud. As he leaves the office, he overhears his co-workers celebrating his departure, which disheartens him. Walking out in the rain, he encounters a monster and follows it, only to be ambushed. Badly injured, Wang arrives just in time to save him and reveals that Wang is actually the boy he saved years ago. Later, Wang offers Jai 2 pills: a blue pill to erase recent memories or a red pill to achieve greater power. Jai declines both, deciding instead to travel abroad, while Wang agrees to train him in combat. Meanwhile, Chen and Guo discuss their plans for the upcoming festival, both contemplating who they'll invite. Guo teases Chen about his crush, urging him to act. Chen gathers the courage, but he's heartbroken when he sees his crush with someone else. Downcast, he finds Guo, who also faced rejection. and they share a light-hearted moment by the river. At the festival, Wang meets Sun, who hints that they have her home to themselves for the night. However, her grandfather shows up, curious about Wang. After challenging him to several tests of strength, Wang impresses everyone by lifting an incredibly heavy family weapon, earning respect. However, when they later find the weapon missing, Sun's grandfather suspects Wang, only to discover from security footage that Yoshiko, an enemy, stole it. Determined, Yoshiko follows her father's orders to steal the weapon and infiltrates the festival. With clever moves, she gains access but is soon caught on camera. To confront her, Sun's grandfather and Thunder unite, though Yoshiko still attempts to summon dark forces against Wang. The situation escalates as demons pour into the city, but Wang and his allies confront the threat. Eventually, Froggy reveals himself as the real mastermind behind the chaos, caught between his demon nature and friendship with Wang. After a series of challenges, Wang emerges victorious, promising Froggy that he'll create a new world for the demons to live in peace. The story ends with Yoshiko grateful to Jai for saving her family and Wang handing the sacred weapon back to Sun, who nearly falls from its weight but is saved by Wang. Thanks for watching. Check out this next video and remember to subscribe AniZapp.